Thanks. Great to be
In,
with you.
Alex from Almighty Warriors and giving us some really good advice. And I think this one's going to be a toughie because the topic is about excuses be gone.
Yeah. So it's time to get those summer bods sorted.
Oh, I thought it had to be sorted already.
Yeah, you're
Don't you
supposed to
exercise
do it
in
in
winter?
winter,
Yeah.
but it's never too late to start.
Okay. Great. So
So
excuses be gone, no more excuses. So there's time to get rid of those excuses for the December holidays. Right. Those
yeah, we're just going to jump around a bit today and cover a whole bunch of things, but trying to help you think of what you can actually do and how to go about it to actually start making an improvement to your health span. And yeah, so we
Let's
gonna
start at the beginning then.
okay, cool.
So, what rather should we find interests that make us want to get rid of those excuses? What is the starting point for us there?
Yeah, I think the big thing that we spoke about a while ago was is reframing your exercise and your nutrition and changing the way that you think about it from it being a chore and a burden to something that is enjoyable and something that you can proactively do to make a difference in your life. And I think that's the key to it. And following on from that is that you need to find something that is really of interest to you, something that you think you'll enjoy doing, even if you've never done it before. That's part of it, and get started.
If budgets are tight, the nice thing to know about exercise is you don't always need to have a lot of money to get started.
No, you don't. And I mean, part of that and the whole gym culture and needing to wear the right kit and wear the right shoes and that really shouldn't even feature. You just need to go with what you've got and you need to show up and get started. And if you can't afford to go to a gym, then you need to realize that you don't actually need to go to a gym. So you can do a lot about improving your nutrition and your level of physical activity without it costing you money. In fact, with on the nutrition side, if you do a little bit more fasting, you'll actually save some money. So you can kill two birds with one stone.
That's also true. There's people in different quadrants of life. You've got people with the time but no money, which we've just said now you don't need to have money to start with your exercising. But you get people with money and no time. So, how do you make that a priority to fit in exercise and say there's no excuses? Even though you got lots of money and no time, there's no excuses. You still need to
No.
fit that in.
Yeah, so you need to take ownership. And I think the key word that you use there is priority. And you need to prioritize. And you can always do something about it. So you can go to bed earlier so that you can wake up earlier, and you can get a workout in before you go to your day and your work. Or you can do micro workouts during your working day, and you can stack those as habits onto things that you do throughout the day. So you don't need to actually break out a whole hour or two as a block to actually go to gym. You can get more physically active and you can train right in your home.
There's different types of goals when it comes to exercise. Some people have exercise goals because they have a big event or a big race that they're training for. Other people are not really that interested in taking part in events, but there's other interests in terms of just having a better life health span also.
Yeah, so if you look at that, you need it. It's really advantageous to have a goal. So you don't want it to be too broad. And so, for example, health span. You need to break that down and say, okay, where am I, my strengths and weaknesses, and what is my primary driver that I want to do? Is it weight loss? In other words, do I want to lose fat and gain muscle? Because we refer to your body composition being way more important than the number on the scale. And then you've also got to have, once you've got that goal, you've got to have the knowledge to actually know how to go about it. So you don't go and start gymming to gain muscle and simultaneously lose fat. You lose fat by eating properly. And you go to gym to go gain muscle. You go running to get fit. So you know, to get your cardiovascular fitness up. So you need to realize what it is that you're wanting to do and achieve, and then get started, and in the smallest possible useful increment, and then build on from there.
So the key there would be to have one focus. So maybe it would be muscle gain or weight loss.
Yes. So where people they get to the point where they realize they need to do something, and then instead of doing something, they do everything. So they try to simultaneously go on a diet, join a gym, start cycling, start running, etc. And then it's just too much. And when that happens, you often find that you get injured, and you actually end up getting ill as well, because your body
So run
is
down.
not used to it. So you know, I'm all for telling you to push and to challenge yourself and to experience and experiment and push your limits, and avoid boredom is the main thing. But you know, the if you overcook it and overtax your body, then, and it's not used to it, the chances are you will get injured and you'll get ill, and then you're going to use that as an excuse. So yes, if you are ill, you shouldn't be training. But if you've got an injury, then you need to get creative and train around it, so that while it's recovering, you're not sedentary again.
Bad habits, that's also a big one.
Yeah, so I mean, we don't need to go into them in detail, but everybody knows what their bad habits are. So it's a case of identifying a bad habit and stopping it, or replacing it with a good one.
I want to give you a few examples, and you must give me the no excuse to that phrase. When people say, too tired.
Then you say go to bed earlier.
Oh, wow. Okay. Too hard.
Well, there you need to break your goal down and make it easier, so that you don't have that as an excuse. So easier stroke enjoyable, pleasurable, so that you actually want to do it.
Too much effort.
Well, that's relative. And I think that on that side, you need to, if you don't have a passion and a goal and a purpose that you are chasing, then lots of things can be too much effort. But you need to just remember, at the end of the day, you've got a carrot and a stick, and the carrot is, at the end of the day, that the desires of your heart, and the fact that the Lord put them there to fulfill them, and that He came to give you an abundant, fulfilling, happy life. But the keys to that are in your hands. So if you choose from your side to be lazy and sedentary and eat poorly, and ask for a lifestyle disease, then you've got to be prepared to live with the consequences of it, and also realize that it then impacts all your loved ones, and everyone around you too. So, yeah,
I've
love
got
yourself and get off your butt.
I've got two more for you. One is too boring.
Well, the boring is probably because you're not pushing hard enough. So, you know, if you start out by walking around the block, and you're starting to get bored of walking around the block, then you should be trying to go faster, carry something with you, make it heavier, make it more challenging, and always try to go do that little bit more. And that way around, yeah. Or if you're totally bored with walking, then it's time to start running or cycling or swimming.
Today we're expecting 38 degrees. 38 degrees.
Good day
Okay.
to go swimming.
Okay, there. I was going to say it's too hot. So is
Yeah.
that the counter excuse for that?
Yeah, so there's always something that you can do, and I think the point that we're trying to get across is that there are there are numerous cop outs, but they are all counted by. At the end of the day, you need to love yourself, and you need to realize that if you don't love and look after yourself and put effort into looking after your health span, then you're going to suffer the consequences of it, and you're going to have a less than fulfilling and life. And just think about it. Think about what it is that excites you. Think about some sport or activity, and what does gym really excite you, or do you want to train outdoors? Do you want to train solo, or do you want to train with a group of people? Do you want to get involved in a sport? And we've covered this numerous times. People that have started sports well advanced in years, and made tremendous progress. So it's never ever too late. As long as you're breathing, you can actually do something about improving your health.
Alec, earlier on in our discussion, you mentioned about doing too much too soon, and that can cause injury. So, somebody that maybe has either done too much too soon or done too much for too long has now got an injury. What's the excuse or the non excuse? The no excuse for that.
Well, like I said, you need to train around it so that you don't stop training in total. So, just as an example now, I overcooked it and I've hurt my heel. So I've got an injury at the moment. I haven't been able to run for 3 months. So it's just that's life. And from my side, I'm now at the moment spending more time doing weight training and enjoying that. And I know my cardio fitness is going taking a knock. But I also know that I've got no excuse not to be on a bicycle. So I could be cycling more, which would then help the cardio, and it wouldn't have any impact on my heel at all. So yeah, there's, like I say, there aren't excuses. You can work around it, and then the understanding that pain is your friend. So if I look at myself, I'd set a goal for a particular workout. And yeah, I was actually walking with a 45-kilo rucksack, which isn't light.
For how
Uh,
far?
and yeah, I had a goal of doing 4Ks.
Okay.
At 3Ks, my heel started hurting, and it was because I was experimenting with a new, uh, let's call it a walking style technique of barefoot walking, where you roll from your little toe to your big toe and then to your heel. So you don't, it's like the same sort of style that you would when you are sprinting.
Yes.
But yeah, I should have maybe tried it without weight first. Uh, and then what happened was when I felt it getting sore, I hadn't finished yet, so I carried on and finished and injured myself. I should have just backed off at the 3K mark when it started hurting, and I would have been fine. So yeah, and that's the way it is. So you have to, in a way, embrace failure and learn from it and get wiser, hopefully, and avoid it next time round.
Exactly, because failing is not really failure if you are going back to just change some things up a little bit and go back to if you are wanting to carry that
Yeah, you need, if you're
rucksack.
experimenting, so I'm talking about now whether it's exercise, nutrition, or anything else in life, you've got to view it as an experiment. And if there isn't a decent chance of failure, then it's way too easy. So you need to be challenging yourself. And with I'll just take nutrition. There are so many varieties of healthy eating, um, and one of them suits you. Which one is it? And you need to find out for yourself, and you need to experiment to find out what works for you. So, intermittent fasting will work for one person and not another. Alternate day fasting will work for one person and not another. Extended fasting will work for one person and not another. So you got to find out what it is that works for you. And, so like we said on nutrition, it's what you eat, when you eat, and how much you eat. And those are the three levers that you need to be in control of in order to actually take care of your nutrition.
Alec, let's wrap up today's discussion of no excuses with a scripture. Where are we reading from today?
John 10:10, and the thief comes only in order to steal, kill, and destroy. I came, that's Jesus came, that they may have life and enjoy and have it in abundance to the full till it overflows. So that abundant life and that healthy life, and we've pulled how many scriptures out which give you advice on exercise and nutrition and looking after yourself, loving yourself, so that you can love, care, and look after others.
Alec Averinos from Almighty Warriors, thank you so much once again for being in for today's discussion. Look forward to the next one.
This is music to live by on Impact 103.